Hello guys, welcome. I'm Samantha this introvert, and today I want to give you my personal recap on episode 3 of The Next Prince. So let's just get into it. Okay, we picked up to where Shadan came in front door of the palace with Kanan because Kanan is normal person. He doesn't really know how to act royalty. This is the royal butler and also a personal butler for Kanan. Now came the separation part. Since Sharon has done his job to bring Kanan to the kingdom, Sharon is done for the entire everything. And he must leave, which Kanan does not want because Kanan only knows Sharon even if it's just for a couple of days. Before Kanan gets settled in, Butler gave Kanan a brief knowledge on each kingdom and their flags. Sharon then reported that his mission is completed and referred his mission as a T, but then told the king that they have been followed and one of them followed by a police, which means at this point the palace has been raised alarm because this means whoever has been following Kanin and wants to get close to Kanin has an inside job with the palace itself. I do pray that the grandfather is good and not like Kinpor's father who planned everything. Then we add Kanan, who needs to dress like a prince himself, but all the clothes are not really Kanan's taste, but he has to wear them. It is time for the assembly for the king to make his announcement of Kanan returning to the kingdom. Why did it take 3 episodes of me to realize that a man upon all 4 of them has no kids? As Kanan come to introduce himself, everyone was shocked because everyone knows that Kanan was dead with, well, at least that is what they believed. So now everyone is in disbelief. Since everyone else stated that they do not believe in or think that the boy is the grandson of the king, King showed the proof that he had done a DNA test, and so it says otherwise. Now that the king has proved evidence that Kanin is his grandson, the king also issued that he will be coming up with a game to see who will win and be rightful heir of the throne. But in generation, the game was only meant for boys, and since out of all of them there are only two, then two will be playing against each other. We see flashback to when Sharon is making sense to Kanan on who to know in the palace. They went to eat spaghetti and immediately Kanan thought of his stepfather. The stepfather really made sure that Kanan always have a piece of Emali. The grandfather then spoke to Kanin about the competition and that the kingdom is very popular in fencing, and since the stepfather is the famous and world championship in fencer of the kingdom, the king hoped that the stepfather taught Kanin, which he did, but now Kanin said he does not want to participate in the competition. Kanan is walking to his room when he saw his biological father, who is lost in thoughts, and decided to go talk to him. Cannon expressed how sorry he is for not participating in the competition, but also stated that the only reason he came to see is that he's hoping that his stepfather came to the palace, which means to the father that Cannon is not acknowledging the biological father as his real father, which is understandable. He doesn't know the person. The next day, all 3 men talked about Cannon and how much they feel the king has been hiding from them. One understands that reason, while the other feels betrayed that the king shows no trust in them. Sharon informs the king that the stepfather's house has been burned down, but also what's worse is that they saw a body and it is said to be the stepfather. So the king informed Sharon to tell Cannon, and trust me, Cannon broke down. I do pray that the king has nothing to do with this because if it is, then I could only think of one reason why he did it, and that's because Canon is growing curious. In the words of Vegas in Kinporch, this was never the fucking plan! Honestly, the only person Canon can lean on in this big palace is Sharon. So now we have a bit of a problem. Since Cannon said he won't be participating in the competition anymore, and remember, only men can participate. But since they only have one, that means maybe it's not really a competition right now. Just crown the person and be over with, right? Meanwhile, this is happening. Kenan is having second thoughts of this and officially decided he wishes to participate. Maybe he doesn't want to let his stepfather, whatever he teaches him, goes to waste. When Kenan came to tell everyone, of course, everyone was shocked, but the king himself was very happy because he's ready to give his own son the whole throne to take over the kingdom, or at least prove to the world that he has left an heir. But when they decided on the continuation of the competition, Miss Lady, who is only the only heiress of one of them, decided to take the opportunity to ask her permission to participate as well. Her father was shocked because he knows females cannot participate, but he, on the same time, wishes so bad for his child to be a part of the competition. Seeing this, Canning gave his opinion on things and asked for her to participate as well. And when the king hears his grandson plead, he granted that request. History itself has been broken thanks to Canning. Canning noticed that he has not been seeing Sharon for a while, so the butler told Canning that Sharon is a professor at the university, so homeboy has job. We then see Sharon ended up meeting the friend that helped them before to escape. And Sharon told the friend about this encounter with a police officer, but I want to know, what does the friend do exactly? After talking to his friend, Sharon decides to go to the bathroom, but then he noticed someone's following him. When he found out that the person who was following him was Cannon, he was shocked because Cannon was so exposing himself. And this is not good because where they are, reporters are in the building and they say they got information that Cannon is in the building as well. So now Sharon has to come up with an idea so they don't see Cannon. The reporters were about to close in on them, so Sharon pretends to kiss Cannon but made sure to cover Cannon so the reporters do not see Cannon's face. Honestly, it doesn't count as a kiss, but it does count as a closeness that Canyon will never get, well, will ever get from Sharon. When they were on the way out, they spot their butler because Canyon could not go alone, of course, and the butler warns them that people have noticed that Canyon is there because they recognize the butler. And thanks to the friend again, they escaped. And again, Sharon is making sure that he can't be around Canyon, and because of that, and it's not his job, and then Canyon thought he could use his high status to demand Sharon to stay by his side, but that was a big fail. So Canyon had the next best thing. He went to his grandfather to ask him to let Sharon be beside him as his personal somebody. It's like they're best friends except for the status. And this guy's facial expression and actions are literally speaking for everyone, and we the viewers agree with it. Now, as much as how annoying and get on top of his nerves Cannon can be, Sharon can't go and disobey the king himself. Again, three of these men are having a discussion about Cannon, same old discussion. Meanwhile, in the news, the competition goes out viral, and now everyone is knowing that the first time in ever a female is involved in the competition. They even show the face of the grandson of the king, who even the people of Emali thought have died. Of course, before the competition, we need to brush up on our history and traditions. Since the ballroom dance is coming up, and Canyon needs to practice. It is the ballroom dance event, and I love the decor, but the choir was not a part of my bucket list. Bring on the church. Then I saw Ned. I was happy. I wonder what royal palace he is from. Ned has his eyes on a person, but isn't this person belong to another prince? I may be wrong. Isn't he the right person? Or am I wrong? Then came the royal king himself with the crown to fully introduce Canyon to the world. I'm not gonna lie, I do love this outfit. Okay, guys, that is the end of my personal recap on episode 3 of The Next Prince. So, see you next time for episode 4.